some sloshing noises.
And now it's time for some ASMR. More for the holidays.
I'm getting those little brain tingles. ASMR, that thing that's not real. It's got to be a porn thing, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
it's always like hot girls, and they're like, now I'm going to crinkle the plastic. Like, it's never like a you or me, a big fat guy. Like,
There's some new ASMR. This is me and the new Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich. Oh.
oh fuck.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsden.
I'm Jeff Searcy, I think.
I don't really know what to say, Jeff. We don't have anything. I guess happy birthday's in order for our listeners. The day we're recording this is Jeff's birthday, so...
Yes, it's my birthday, but I did something for it yesterday, and I'll be doing something for it tomorrow.
And you're doing something for it today. You're recording this piece of shit podcast.
Yeah, I guess.
So, thanks to Jeff for agreeing to spend this very important day with me. Other than that, I don't think we have too much exciting to talk about, so let's get into it, because there is a lot to cover in this episode.
A lot.
So let's get to it. Let's set the stage. Let's deck the halls. First thing I have is that this is an anthology. Oh, sorry. We should probably mention what movie this is.
Nah, it's fine. Let him figure it out.
We're doing 2020's 13 Slays Till Xmas.
Xmas. Woke moralism.
And this is an anthology film produced by Blood Moon Pictures, distributed by Scream Team Releasing, who also did I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday, which we will get to at some point.
Definitely.
It's currently streaming on Tubi. If anyone wants to watch it, I think I will get to it later on, but I think Jeff and I would both agree it's well worth watching.
Yes. Tubi is definitely one of the best free streaming services, just to note that, too.
There is a lot of content in general. There's a lot of Christmas horror content constantly going off of Tubi and back onto Tubi. A couple of my favorites have been on there. Hopefully, we'll actually be getting those movies on DVD here soon. But once we do, we'll mention it. But yeah, there's tons of great stuff on there. All the Silent Night, Deadly Nights are on there currently. I think maybe Christmas Evil, Blood Beat, tons of good stuff on Tubi. But yeah, right now, 13 Slays Till Xmas is on Tubi. I know it's also been on, I think, Prime at one point and on Screambox.
It's also on Plex if you're watching in 2013.
I also have it's an indie film, so only about a $10,000 budget.
Which, I mean, great work.
And released in the middle of the pandemic. We watched a couple of the behind-the-scenes extras. Lots of masks, but they did a good job with the movie in the middle at the beginning of COVID.
Considering, yeah, I'm sure it was incredibly hard to get extras and people to work on it.
Like we said, this is an indie movie, so there's not a big name person to talk about. And Jeff and I don't have much to talk about to set the scene for this movie, but I do have a list of people here and movies that we will see them in again. So I'm going to read through all of those.
All right, wake me when it's over.
All right, we've got Brittany Blanton, Season's Greetings 2. We've got Jed Bryan, A Smiling Woman Christmas and A Christmas Horror Story. Not that one. We've got Sean Burkett, Season's Greetings 1 and 2. We've got Blair Hoyle, Mrs. Claus. We've got Drew Marmick, Xmas 2. We've got Julie Ann Prescott, Seasons. Hi to my friend Tim. We've got James Stokes, Reunion from Hell 2. We've got Stephen J. Hodke, Season's Greetings 2. We've got Jennifer Nangle, Ugly Sweater Party. We've got Rebecca Reinhardt, Sister Krampus. We've got Kaylee Williams, Mrs. Claus. We've got Rob Collins, Season's Greetings 2. We've got Troy Escamilla, Mrs. Claus, and I believe Mrs. Claus 2 is in the works right now. Hi, Troy. We've got Tiffany Keeley, She Was So Pretty, Be Good for Goodness Sake. We've got Emily McNulty, Season's Greetings 2. Sean C. Phillips, He Knows, Krampus, The Devil Returns, Caesar, and Otto's Deadly Christmas. We've got Peyton Plesky, Season's Greetings 2. We've got Mike Reeves, Season's Greetings. And we've got Travis Wilson, Season's Greetings 2.
So we got a lot of people who are going to be in Christmas horrors, what you're telling me.
Yep, we're going to see a lot of these people again. I'm not going to do this again for the next one of these.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I probably will. So, other than that, if you don't have anything, Jeff...
No, not really, other than just being impressed by the production quality for the low budget.
Yeah, no, this is, like I said, we'll get to it, but this was such a fun movie.
It really was.
Let's kick off our synopsis. It starts off with a preview of sorts. It looks like the preview green screen, but it's not exactly accurate. It says like the preview is approved by Scream Team Releasing or approved by Blood Moon Pictures.
Well, that's convenient.
And it's a dad talking to his daughter about how he didn't like girls when he was a little boy growing up. We jump forward in time, and his daughter is grown up asking her dad if Santa is real. The dad says yes, and it gets a little ominous.
He's very real.
He finds his daughter missing with the note he wrote to Santa when he was little, asking for Santa to make all the annoying girls in his life disappear.
Oops.
And then we get a voiceover, in a world. Yeah, this is a movie trailer. And so it pops up at the end. It's like, Dear Santa.
Dear Santa.
So it's like, Dear Santa, and then it's R switches to a D, so it's like Dead Santa.
Writing Santa can have consequences.
But it was a cute little trailer. It made, I think it made both Jeff and I stop and go, is this a real movie?
Yeah, no, it was really well done, because I was like, hey, we should watch that one.
But it doesn't exist.
Nope.
Not that we can see, but if they want to make it, we'd be more than willing to watch it.
We would definitely buy a Blu-ray.
And then we kind of get our framing device. The camera pans out. Turns out we were watching a scene on TV. Someone flips the TV off.
Now we got our parade of reporters.
Yeah, we get a bunch of news reports about all the murders in this small town that happen around Christmas time. It's been going on, I think they say, for like a decade. Mm-hmm. You get all sorts of blood, like you get a bloody gloved hand.
Yeah.
Putting newspaper articles on a murder board. And it's intercut with all these different like news reporters. I think this is where Troy is in one of the scenes. I think he's one of the reporters.
Yeah.
We get different news articles, and We Three Kings, like a hard rock version of We Three Kings, plays in the background. I think one of the news stations is like Channel 666.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I think you pointed out maybe one of the reporters is like Wesley Craven or something like that. We then get the 13 Slaves Tell Xmas title card.
Bloody title card.
And we find a bunch of guys sitting in a dive bar on Christmas Eve.
I'm sure that never happens.
They all agree to kind of pass the time. They all agree to like tell two stories apiece, two scary Christmas stories apiece.
Well, as an important note, they first agreed to all stop flapping their cock holsters.
And suck my candy cane. And they agree to tell two scary Christmas stories. I think one of the guys is like, my grandma used to do this, and one of the guys is like, your grandma was a spooky bitch.
Yeah.
One of the guys shows up late, but they're all kind of there. I think there's some kind of reference to an email that got them all there, because it kind of seems like they're all just regulars, but they all know each other.
But yeah, the story contest is set up as, whoever tells the best stories basically will get their bar tab paid.
Yep. Or is it they'll get their bar tab paid, or they will pay, the loser pays everyone's tab. It's one or the other. It doesn't matter.
Something.
Yeah,
I think it's the winner.
But yeah, there's like this little implication in this framing device that there's an email that brought them all there.
Right.
And they don't want to talk about it because they all know each other. We will cut back to these different guys over the course of the movie, but we won't really reference them again till the end.
I mean, it's important to note too that it's a kind of like diverse group of people you wouldn't really think would all know each other unless this town is like incredibly tiny, because you got like a priest, you got a cop, you've got there was one guy, he was implied to be like a doctor,
Yep,
like
I think a pediatrician and a school teacher.
Yeah, it's like a group of people you wouldn't think would have a lot of crossover, but they're all here.
And they all know each other, so they all agree to kind of to pass the time, tell two stories apiece. So Jeff and I are going to alternate on this synopsis. I'm gonna I'm going to kind of describe a story. Jeff will describe a story. We'll go back and forth, go through these 12 stories. And then we'll come back to this framing device at the end.
Feel free to jump in on my sections if you got anything to say.
Yep, and same for you. So I'll go. I've got the first one. The title of the movie is technically Like a Family. We get two sisters talking on the phone about spending Christmas at their dead mom's house who gave into her demons.
It's what Mom would have wanted.
One of them is Sam, the other is Danny. Sam reluctantly doesn't want to go, or reluctantly agrees to go. She doesn't want to go. She's told to show up on time. She shows up late. She comes in, and Danny's acting really weird. Basically tells Sam to start decorating, but she's just acting very strange.
She's got a bad case of vampire hair.
Danny makes, at one point while Sam's setting stuff up, Danny kind of makes a move towards her, steps into the light coming out of the window, and kind of you hear like a burning sound.
She kind of recoils.
Yeah, but she pulls her foot away, and she's like, "Oh, maybe we should move that stuff away from the window." And mom always used to set stuff up here. And then Danny keeps telling her to like go downstairs.
Yeah, that was like textbook vampire.
Go down to the basement, bring the stuff up. So Sam kind of does. All right, I'll go do that if you'll go do this. Sam goes down to the basement, finds like an empty pill bottle, and then finds Danny's corpse downstairs, kind of runs upstairs.
She's at the front door and then chooses not to leave because she hears a voice calling her name.
Yep, she keeps hearing Danny's, like a creepy voice from Danny calling her name. She rounds a corner, like Jeff said, doesn't leave, rounds a corner. And we see like a very like hollowed husk of Danny, like kind of moving towards her, telling her to join her. We'll be just like a family. We can be here together forever.
Forever.
Danny gave in so easily, and you can too. And Sam looks down, and there's like a razor blade in her hand.
Yeah.
She grabs a wreath and smacks Sam grabs a wreath and smacks Danny in the face with it, and then like pulls down the curtain. And in the light, like it hits Danny, and Danny kind of bursts into flames.
Right. Yeah.
And then we cut to Sam sitting outside. Her face is now all covered in like soot.
Yeah.
And a volunteer comes up and approaches her, and he's like, I'm with the holiday mental health drive. Are you okay? Do you need any help? And Sam kind of answers in the affirmative. Yeah. As then it cuts back to the wreath that Sam hit Danny with, kind of like glowing in the sunlight, the wreath that Sam hit Danny with on top of like a pile of ash, and the pile of ash is like glowing in the sunlight.
Yeah, it's kind of like pulsing, like maybe she's not gone.
Yeah, but it was a cute little.
Yeah, I mean, basically like all the other segments, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It was interesting enough to keep our attention for like the 5 minutes that it ran.
Yeah, but a very, very, very short. I don't think too much to talk about, but that was the first one.
Okay, now the second one. The Devil's Due, which I didn't know the names of any of these till we saw the credits.
Yep. No, same here. They don't mention what they are, but they do all have titles, so we kind of got all of them.
And they do like flow 2 stories, then a break to the bar, and then 2 more stories. Yep. So you kind of tell where it's breaking up that way. But yes, The Devil's Due. Classic father-daughter at Christmas time, and a mom in the picture. So, the mom's either dead or out of the picture, divorced, something. And she's writing a letter to Santa. He's like, don't ask Santa for anything. Like you do. And she's like, why? And he's like, you don't need anything from him. And she's like, oh, well, I already did, so whatever. And so he goes downstairs, and there's a letter on the tree. Oh, no, it's a letter on the desk. And then someone calls his phone, and it looks like it's his dead wife. Because
I think it's a voicemail. He listens to the voicemail from his wife.
Yeah, first he's listening to his wife on a voicemail. Then he gets a call from his wife's number, and he's like, this is impossible. Just doesn't answer it. And then it calls again. And he's like, all right, who is this? And it's a spooky voice like, the deal that you made's almost up. And he's like, no way. You're not taking her. And it's like, oh, we got a classic supernatural situation going on here. Made one of those deals with a demon.
Yeah, seems very like the Devil Dog episode of Supernatural from like season 2 or season 3.
We got a hellhound situation on our hands, folks. And so he dashes upstairs while he's still on the phone. And then it cuts to a shot of seemingly him standing there, like kind of stroking his daughter's hair. And then you see the real him come into the door. And he's like, oh, And he sees him and he kind of smiles, and the daughter kind of notices, oh, and turns around to look at him, and that's when this demon, whatever it is, Satan, evil Santa, snaps the daughter's neck.
Or no, like drives his finger in the back of her skull.
First, yeah, he drives his finger through her skull, and then as she's kind of like twitching, he kind of spins it around so that she can look at her dad. Which I thought the effect on the kill was great.
No, it like you said, it felt very much like a supernatural thing.
It screamed like Supernatural episode to me.
And I think the implication is that the daughter's birthday is Christmas. We've got a couple different stories with people's birthday being on Christmas in this anthology. The daughter's birthday is on Christmas, and the deal he made was like for her to see her teenage years or something like that. Yeah. That's kind of what's implied.
Basically, it seemed like the mother and daughter and he must have gotten into an accident, and they both would have died except he made a deal to save the daughter.
Yeah.
And so apparently whatever deal he made, which is never really made clear, has come due.
And I think the demon dad also, for the supernatural effect, has the black demon eyes.
Yes, he does. He does have no pupils at all.
Yeah, so... Yeah, but yeah, that was that one.
The Devil's Due.
The Devil's Due. The next one is One More Gift. We've got two brothers kind of bemoaning being together on Christmas, being the only people left. They talk about how they were always more creative as a group. I don't think we get the names of the guys.
No, it never really specifies.
One guy gives his gives a gift to the other. We'll call him Guy 1 and Guy 2, I don't know. Guy 1 gives Guy 2 like some moonshine or a gift, and it's moonshine. Kind of look like piss.
Yeah. Is this apple pie? Yeah, it's apple pie or something.
and so he's like, "Oh man, you should have, just like home." Then the Guy 2 gives Guy 1 a gift. It has like a hunting knife in it.
Because he broke his old one.
Or lost his old one, maybe.
Broke something.
Yeah. But sounds like maybe fell out in a...
You dropped it out of the tree stand. There's no way.
Yeah, and so they're kind of talking about that, and then Guy 1 is like, "Oh, I know we normally only do one gift, but here I got you another one," and gives him a photo album, and we think, okay, these guys maybe are brothers. They're kind of reliving their youth. Yeah. It's a bunch of there's some family photos. There's some old Christmas photos, and then the photos start to kind of take a more sinister turn.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Oh yeah, here, you remember these guys we murdered together?
Yeah, and so we kind of get that these guys are killers.
Yeah.
And then guy number 2 is like, "Well, I also kind of got you a second gift."
Yeah.
And he goes and he opens a door, and we see like a person. We don't really see the person, but we see kind of a person wrapped in in tinsel and stuff like that, with flashing Christmas lights illuminating them. And Guy 2 is like, "I got the camera," and Guy 1 is like, "Oh yeah, let me go get my knife or something." And then
it's time to break in that knife.
Yeah, and then it cuts out, fades to black.
Yeah.
So that's that story, but that was kind of a cool little story.
Yeah, that was the point where I asked, because this is when it had switched storytellers. I was like, is this guy at the bar the murderer that they were talking about on the news?
No, it did kind of seem like that.
Yeah. All right, well, One More Gift was good, but if you liked One More Gift, you're going to love It's a Wonderful Death. Which, I mean, watching It's a Wonderful Life is torture on its own. It's a Wonderful Death is much better. So basically the premise is an angel, which is not really an angel. He guesses, "Oh, my guardian angel," more like fallen angel. And he's like, "Yeah, now you're getting it."
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, it's basically just a parody of It's a Wonderful Life, except now it's Clarence the Demon showing a guy why he should definitely kill himself because of how much better it would make everyone else's life. And
the guy's gonna hang himself with a Christmas stocking.
Yeah, it looks like that, or maybe some Christmas themed socks tied together.
Well, I think it's a stocking, because I think at one point he goes, "Are you stalking me?" And then Clarence is like, "The only stocking here is wrapped around your neck."
Yeah. Oh, first, I got him. He's like, "Oh, you scared me half to death. Holy shit, fuck." Yeah. When the Clarence appears for the first time. But yeah, no, basically the gist of it is he sees visions of his friends and family like living a happy life without him, basically. And then we kind of get a flash, which I don't think is a vision of Clarence. This is just a flash, because this wouldn't really support him killing himself, of his sister being conflicted about not inviting him or calling him for Christmas.
So I think It's almost like a cross between It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Story, where he sees like a vision from the past where he's spending time with his wife and kids.
Right.
A scene from the present where his wife now estranged from him and her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about he needs to get help, blah 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 blah. And then we get a scene in the future of him going to her house and like shooting it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because the future scene is pretty great as far as the gore effects go. But yeah, so basically it's like, yeah, you really don't have a reason to live. You should kill yourself. And so he does it. And then, he gets the classic ironic text. Hey, you want to come spend time with us for the holiday?
Yeah, from his wife.
Yeah. Is it his wife? I thought it was his sister.
See, I think it's his wife because there's like heart emojis next to her name.
I was gonna say, I thought it was his sister because when she's talking to her husband or boyfriend or whatever it is, she's like, I feel bad about excluding my brother.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just saw the hearts next to the name, so I thought maybe.
It seems like maybe he was like a brother with mental health problems and they don't want him around their kids.
But yeah, but that was a fun.
I liked it.
I liked that one a lot. I like that they named the guy Clarence.
Yeah. No, that was the holy shit fuck thing. Holy shit fuck ass face, I think was the exact line.
Oh my god.
There's the dialogue in this movie is amazing.
Yeah, when we get to Christmas carols, there's going to be quite a bit to talk about.
But yeah, I also really like the my guardian angel, more like fallen angel. He's like, now you're getting the idea.
Yep, now you're getting it. Number 5 is called Don't Kill Santa. Two guys break into a house at Christmas time. One of them tells the other that it's a mall Santa. The guy says, "Oh, we're not gonna be stealing from a guy with kids." The guy's kids, he doesn't have any kids. His wife and daughter died a year ago.
Yeah.
Hit by a drunk driver. The one guy still kind of seems apprehensive about going, but it's implied that he owes the other guy a lot of money.
Because he's like, "Yo, can't we just cut this guy a break?"
And then it kind of comes out that the driver of the drunk driver that killed the wife and daughter is the other guy.
Is the main robber, yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't want he doesn't want the guy to realize it and come after him.
And then the accomplice raises a pretty good point of, if you show him your face, he's probably going to remember that it's you.
Yeah, but you could leave town. You don't have to stick around here.
Yeah.
We hear the door opening. They kind of hide. The drunk mall Santa comes in, kind of finds this gift from his daughter from a year ago. Mm-hmm. He's starting to unwrap it, looks up, sees the reluctant guy looking at him, and then the actual bad guy starts like strangles and kills him, and he's like, I can't, and then the reluctant guy's like, I can't believe we're going to do this on Christmas. And he's like, it's not Christmas, it's Christmas Eve. The bell hits midnight. Not anymore, it's not. And suddenly, like, all the decorations, all the ornaments kind of start moving, activating.
Creepy. Yeah.
Lights start coming on, things start moving. I think the snow globe suddenly just starts spitting snow up. And
you see the parts of the Christmas tree begin to kind of move suddenly.
Yeah. And then, like, one of the branches reaches out, wraps around the guy's neck, wraps around, like, the killer's neck. The reluctant guy runs off, grabs a knife, goes in to cut the branch, and a scene that is very reminiscent of like Home Alone, like the Wet Bandits. Goes to cut the branch. The branch moves away, and he just stabs his friend in the shoulder.
Just a quick note: he grabs the knife from the kitchen, and then he comes into the doorway, and he's like, "I'm coming for you!" and starts running at him full speed with the knife.
It goes to cut, but it's with the shoulder. They both look at each other, look down at the knife in his shoulder, and then they both scream.
Classic cartoon reaction.
And then the branch grabs the reluctant guy, snaps his arm, breaks the bone through the skin.
Incredibly strong tree.
And then the killer runs away, and then the tree comes up behind him with a knife, and we see the knife stab him repeatedly.
Which, I mean, Christmas tree best slasher of all time.
Yeah, and then the tree kind of is goes around the mall Santa, moves its garland, its branches around the mall Santa, finds the present, unwraps it, and it's a little gift from the daughter, a little trinket, and it puts it on the mantle next to the picture of the dead wife and daughter.
And I think the last shot is the tree branch just kind of slowly retracting.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
Which I think it implies that maybe the spirit of the wife and daughter are the thing that are animating the tree.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, because that's why they want to protect the mall Santa.
But yeah, I thought that was a very cool one.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And the effects of the tree were done really well.
No, the only one that I know of, and, I'm not a full expert. I know there's at least one other killer tree movie, but yeah, if it's half as good as this short anthology, like,
Yeah, I'm sure
it's gonna be great.
Oh, I just want to make a quick note that when they're breaking in at the very beginning, the reluctant guy says, "Didn't your granny ever tell you the most dangerous thing you can do on Christmas is fuck over Santa?"
Yes, that was a good line.
All right, well, if you love that, you're going to love Kringle the Christmas Clown. This was one of the ones where at the beginning we thought it was kind of a dumb setup, but then as it went on, we were like, no, I like this.
Yeah.
So it's classic. The daughter's excited for Christmas, but it's being taken to bed by mom, and the dad's kind of walking down the hall, and he can hear video game sounds from the son's room, so he goes in, he's like, no, first he yells. He's like, no, we got to turn that game off. And the son's like, okay, after this round, the classic thing.
One more game, Dad.
Yeah, let's go do one more time. And so the dad comes in the room and he's like, Santa doesn't come if you're awake. You need to get off that game and go to bed. And the kid's like, yeah, whatever, I'm finishing this round. And the dad's like, this is when the dad starts into his story about Kringle the Christmas Clown.
I think the dad, he's like, oh, Santa's already on his way.
Yeah.
He can't take my presents away. He's like, well, actually,
Santa sends Kringle the Christmas Clown out ahead of his sleigh to double check and make sure kids are behaving and are asleep. Which, when the dad is explaining it, the faces that he makes are like ridiculous and amazing. But yeah, so apparently Kringle the Christmas Clown is like a kind of, you were saying he was like an Americanized Krampus, maybe?
Yeah, there's the anti-Santa tradition, but yeah, very very Krampusy, very Frau Perkta.
But yeah, so basically he comes ahead of Santa's sleigh, double checks, makes sure all the kids are behaving, and if they're not, he doesn't punish the child, he kills the parents, is what the dad says.
And then kidnaps the child.
He kidnaps the child to fuel Santa's slave labor industries at the North Pole to manufacture all the toys. So the dad says that, and the kid's like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm sure that really happens. And the dad's like, yeah, whatever, go to bed. And so he goes out of the room. Kid keeps playing the video game. The dad comes back in the room and he's like, I told you to stop,
Oh no, the kid starts playing the video game, and then he hears like a jingle.
Yes, there's a jingle, and then I believe a Christmas ornament kind of rolls out from a corner of the room.
Yeah, and he goes out and like picks it up, and then Kringle is behind him.
Yeah, a horrifying clown, by the way.
Yeah.
If anybody's afraid of clowns, you may want to skip this segment if you choose to watch this. He's like incredibly scary looking clown.
And then the son like freaks out, and then that's when the dad walks in. He's like, I thought I told you to stop playing video games.
He's like, I did. Kringle's here. He's really here. And Dad's like, yeah, sure, whatever. That's just some bullshit. I told you so you go to bed.
Yeah, it's not a real story. Don't tell your mom that I told you this story.
Don't tell your mother. And then, of course, Kringle appears directly behind him.
Kills the dad.
Yep, kills him, and then seemingly carries the son off for slave labor.
He goes to put the bag over the Santa's sack over his head.
Yeah.
Oh, and he kills the dad. Very very reminiscent of like Black Christmas, but with a clown twist. He puts a plastic bag over his head, but it's full of cotton candy.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I haven't seen Black Christmas, so I didn't get that reference.
Oh man, can't wait till we get there.
I'm sure the people who made this movie definitely knew what they were referencing.
Yeah. Oh, Black Christmas is my favorite.
My question was, does Kringle only kill the bad parent, or did he go kill the mom too?
That it doesn't answer it. I would assume the mother is killed as well, and he steals both children, but hard to say. Yeah. But yeah, great. That was a great one.
I liked it. Yeah. At first, I thought, maybe this won't be that great, but it turned out being pretty good.
I liked it quite a bit. It was. That's the thing. We're going to talk about how good all of them are, because they're all very good. The next one was called Santa Claus, Claws, not to be confused with the movie Santa Claus, which we will get to at some point soon.
And this is another one that started off, we thought, weak and ended amazingly.
Yeah, we get some exteriors of like Christmas lights. There's like a, I think it's got to be like a free use song. Mm-hmm. There's like a do 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 kind of song playing in the background.
Royalty free Christmas.
Yeah, and there's this girl Parker writing a letter to Santa asking for a new phone. Her brother comes up behind her, looks like Reese from Malcolm in the Middle. has the spiked up hair and everything, and he kind of scares her with a lizard, taunts her with a lizard.
Acts like Buzz from Home Alone.
Yep, she's like, I'm writing my letter to Santa. Oh, Santa's not real. They bicker back and forth.
Yeah.
They argue for a
The
bit.
parents put the presents under the tree.
And
obviously.
then the brother kind of admits, that Santa is real, but that he also has an evil twin brother. God put all the good in the world into Santa, which meant that only the evil was left, and he banished him to hell. And the only way to summon
the only way to summon Santa's evil brother is to play a Christmas song on a record backwards.
Yeah, and it's a warped version of this song. The lights and he's doing it, and he's taunting his sister. And he kills all the bad kids, and he can't be stopped till all the bad kids are killed. Have you been bad? Parker, have you been bad?
His voice is getting like distorted and creepy.
Yeah, and he's kind of laughing and joking with his sister. All the lights cut out. They come back on, and Doomsday from Superman comics, wearing wearing a Santa outfit, is standing in the doorway. The brother's like, "Oh no!" And he's carrying a machete that is candy cane striped.
Yeah.
Kills the brother. Parker covers her head with a blanket. She's like, "I have been good. I have been good. I have been good."
Turns out she has been good.
And then like the music changes back to normal, the lights change back to normal. She like takes the blanket off of her head. She's looking around and sees the corpse of her brother nailed to the wall with the machete.
Yeah.
And she like freaks out, looks down, sees the present from Santa, opens it up. It's a new phone. Immediately forgets that her brother is stuck to the wall.
Doesn't give even one fuck.
And calls her friend on the phone, already preset in the phone. She's like, "You'll never guess what? Santa gave me a phone."
Yeah.
And it zooms out. The Christmas song's still playing. The royalty-free Christmas song's still playing. You just see the brother stuck to the wall still.
Yeah. It was amazing. We were like, this is weird having two like killer Santa things back to back. It's like, no, it worked perfectly.
Yeah, it was so good.
Okay. Well, now that we're done talking about that masterpiece, let's talk about the best segment of the entire film, Scary Annette. So it's two women, ostensibly a lesbian couple.
Yes.
It's set up to be. Not at Christmas for some reason. They're like, oh, it's only a couple days till Thanksgiving.
One of them is getting a jump start on the Christmas decorating, which I can appreciate.
But yes, she's like, man, you got to wait till at least after Thanksgiving. And
you don't. You can start setting up for Christmas on November 1st.
I mean, my fiance wants to decorate for Christmas now, so. But
no, gotta at least wait till October's over.
And so they're like, oh yeah, whatever. And she's like, well, I already started, so sue me. And she looks over at the shelf and she's like, oh my God, what's that thing over there? And it kind of pans to this creepy looking doll. And it's like, oh God, not a creepy doll.
And it's implied that it's kind of an elf, maybe like one of Santa's elves.
Yeah, later on she's like, it's an elf. And it's like, well, it doesn't look like an elf, but whatever.
But it has black button eyes, very much like Coraline.
Yeah, and like those weird striped sock things down its legs, yeah. But yeah, obviously the woman who sees it is incredibly freaked out by it. And the other woman's like, what? What's wrong, And she's like, that thing, my grandma gave it to me. And she's like, it tried to kill me. And it's implied that she has had some anxiety troubles at the beginning. And then she's like, it triggers my anxiety, to see it. Can you please put it away? And the girl's like, no, it's fine. We'll just leave it up. You'll get over it. It'll be okay.
How would I go give you the old gobble gobble and practice stuffing your turkey?
That was my favorite line of the entire... I don't know if it's my favorite line of the entire... It was definitely in my top 5. But yeah, let me go give you gobble gobble and practice stuffing your turkey upstairs. So they go upstairs to do that, because how can you turn an offer like that down?
Right.
And they must have fallen asleep afterwards, because then it cuts to a nighttime and the lady who was triggered by the doll is having trouble sleeping. And she wakes up and she thinks she's going to go to the top of the stairs. And then she sees the Scary Annette of the title. But it's now a full-size human woman.
Crawling up the stairs.
Dressed the same way, crawling up the stairs, which reminded me of The Grudge a lot. But yeah. I mean, honestly, to give them credit, looked pretty creepy.
No, it did.
And and so she runs back in and she's like, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. And her partner in the bed is like, what is it? What's wrong? And she's like, nothing, nothing, just go back to bed. And she's like, it's not real.
And then the partner like gets upset with her and like, I'm trying to sleep, and pushes her out of bed.
Which incredible strength on this lady, because she pushes her directly off the bed onto the floor like nothing.
And then she realizes that like her partner's not making any noise.
So she shoots up and looks down, but she's not by the side of the bed. So she looks to the foot of the bed, and there's the creepy scary Annette holding her. And I believe she twists her neck.
Yep, snaps her neck.
It's like nothing. It's a great sound too. Whoever did the sound effect did a great job. But yeah, snaps the neck like it's a twig, and just drops the body. And then we think the scary Annette would kill her, but apparently not, because then we cut to an exterior shot with a cop.
I think she screams.
Yeah, she does scream. Exterior shot with a cop, and he's kind of like patrolling the neighborhood, I guess. And then he gets a call. It's like, oh, we got a call. You need to go check it out. So he goes up to the house, and she's, I don't think she's outside. I think she's still hiding up in the bed.
Yep, she's still upstairs. The cop sees the doll, like the little doll attacking her.
Yeah.
And but we're supposed to believe that it's the full actual scary Annette.
Also, weird neighbor guy / stalker is outside and gives him the keys.
Yeah, that was a very strange moment.
And he's like, "Go home, sir." Which we're all thinking, get out of this movie.
I think it implies that the guy's a peeping Tom. Like, he's like, I've got a phone call about a domestic disturbance and a peeping Tom. And the guy's like, oh, here's the keys. And then he like scuttles off.
Yeah, that was pretty great. But yeah, cop goes upstairs, sees the lady being strangled by a doll, and it's like, yeah, so is she just crazy? And did she kill? She strangled her partner, or is the doll actually killing them? I guess you'll never really know, because that's where it ends.
Well, no, then the officer arrests her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it wasn't me, it was the doll. And whatever, ma'am. Yeah. And then we see like the dead girlfriend like kind of sit up. She's got buttons for her eyes, and then like the scary Annette's hand starts like caressing her face. Yeah,
so we see that, which you're wondering, is this in that lady's mind, or is that actually happening?
Yep. And speaking of police incompetence, we've got our next one is called A Christmas to Dismember.
Oh, God.
We get a news broadcast about 23 people getting killed in what people are calling a Christmas to Dismember. It's like the thing in movies where people say the name of the movie title in the movie.
Oh my God, you said the thing.
I've gotta go be Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Oh, that's why it's called that.
Please, we then cut to like that night, and that's what we're supposed to believe. A police officer is bleeding out on the ground, and the sheriff kind of runs up, tries to resuscitate her, can't. That one dies. She's kind of moving around. It's a prison transport. It looks like the person escaped. There's another dead police officer at kind of the foot of the prison transport. She sees some movement, hears some movement off to her side. If it thinks it's maybe her backup, calls on the walkie-talkie, doesn't get an answer, and, starts firing into the darkness, kills her partner.
Yeah. Classic move.
Yeah, classic, classic police. And then, kind of starts looking around. You've got that line she says where she's like, show me your face and I'm gonna...
Oh, I can read it out for you directly, because of course I added it to my notes. It was, show me that pretty little face of yours and I'll cure all your ills.
Yeah. And so she's kind of moving around in the darkness, can't really see where she's going. She's investigating. Suddenly her cruiser behind her, the lights go off. She goes in, can't find doesn't find the killer, grabs the shotgun from the front of the car, goes around to the back of the car, opens the trunk, finds the police officer that was by the side of the car that she was trying to save. That one was now missing. Mm-hmm. It's that one's crammed in the trunk. She turns around and the killer's like right there, and I think stabs her.
Yeah.
It then cuts to like the person being stabbed is also the police officer, and it turns out that like the killer is remembering. Yeah. It like relives these moments from this night in his head like constantly but as different people.
Yeah, he's always someone else involved in the situation. But yeah, so it's kind of, we find out that he's just been locked in a cell at the mental institution.
Yep, he's been locked there for years. Turns out a bus full of kids for a Christmas Eve field trip was also going by that road and, you know, stopped, and he killed all the kids on the trip.
We also need to address that the way that we find out he's in a mental institution is the orderly taking a selfie of him staring at the wall inside the cell.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, this is gonna get me so many likes.
Oh man, so many likes on Instagram.
And there's a guy, then like the new hire comes in, the new orderly, and he's like, "You're not my new orderly." He's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
And they're talking. He's like, "Oh, this is the guy. This is Thorne, I think is the guy's name."
Yeah, something.
And
like
he's
that.
like, "Oh, this is the guy that killed all those people." He's like, "Yeah, don't you know?" And they're talking about it. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "Well, you know, he didn't just kill, you know, those police officers. He also killed, you know, all these kids, and a lot of those parents, you know, fought for him to get the death penalty, and he didn't, for reasons of insanity. A lot of those parents killed themselves in grief." And then the guy, he's like, you know, my kid brother was on that bus, pulls out a gun, shoots the inmate.
Oh, but first, before he shoots him, the inmate presses his face up to the glass and repeats the line of the sheriff's deputy.
Oh, and we get a flash. Yeah, let me see that pretty little face of yours. I'll kill it. Yeah, we see a bunch of flashbacks of the prisoner killing all these people. We see someone getting bashed in the head with a rock. 3 movies in a row now.
Yes, the rock bash.
Yep. And then the guy, then the new hire pulls out a gun, shoots the inmate, then turns the gun on himself, kills himself, and then the actual new orderly walks in and he goes, "Ho ho, holy shit!"
Yeah, oh holy shit! And then a good line happened right before that too, because the other order's like oh shit when he shoots him through the door, and he's like, "If you like that, you're gonna love this," and then blows his own brains out.
Isn't this also the orderly at one point? He's like, "He's a regular Jason Myers."
Yeah, Jason Myers. Yeah, and of course the guy who's about to blow his brains out has to stop and correct him. He's like, "It's Michael."
Yep.
Well, that one was great. I thought I really liked it.
Ho ho, holy shit!
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we stole that line, but we didn't.
Yeah, no, we totally didn't. I don't know if it was ho ho holy shit or ho ho holy fuck, because I have both in my name.
Oh, I think it might be ho ho ho. Yeah, it's ho ho holy fuck.
Yeah, it was great. But I mean, as great as that one was, we're about to get to my pick for best. I mean, probably best thing ever put to film of all time. God. But definitely the best thing in this anthology.
I mean, you said you wanted to do a dramatic reading of just this piece of the anthology.
I mean, at some point, maybe we will. But I'm going to hold off on that for now. But
if we start a Patreon, we'll do a dramatic reading of Dead Air.
It would be worth it. But yes, Dead Air. It opens on a radio station with a late night shock jock. He gets a call, and it's a female caller. And so naturally the first thing he says is, "Damn, you sound slutty as fuck." And he's like, "Forgive my toxic masculinity, but with a voice like that, I want to eat that butt." And she's like, "Oh yeah, well I got something for you to chew on. I heard you're losing your slot, you asshole." He's like, "Where the fuck did you hear that?" And so he signs off of that call immediately, and you can see he's kind of shaken up by that. And he kind of does, before he goes off the air, he does an ad for it's seemingly some kind of cured meat company, because he's like, "It takes a whole lot of meat it takes a whole lot of heat to cook Farmer Vince's meat."
Farmer Vince's meat pies.
Yeah. Which I thought was great again. But yeah, he gets off of that, and so he goes out the door to the studio, and then there's a radio station employee out there.
Well, he hears a noise.
Yeah, he does hear a noise.
He starts to investigate, because no one's answering him, and he hears these noises echoing through the radio station.
Yeah. He gets out into the hallway, and then there's an employee there, and he's asking him a few questions. And this line stuck out in my mind. I haven't forgot. First, I should note, before he signs off the air, I think he's like, "I gotta go powder this swamp ass," before he starts the next track. He's like, yeah, I gotta go powder this swamp ass, and cuts in the music. And then I don't know if it's someone talking to him through his headphones or if he's like, oh no, it's when the guy scares him out in the hallway. That's his next best line where he's like, my shorts are caked in shit now. Probably the closest I'm going to get to cake all day. But yeah.
The guy who scares him is the guy who's going to take his slot as the night DJ. They're going to move him to days.
Yes. And he's making fun of him for that. And he's like, the radio host is like, no, it's bullshit. Some thunder cunt was just repeating that to me on air. Repeating that rumor to me. And he's like, I'm going to call the station manager in the morning. Because, this is bullshit. I'm the best thing that ever happened to this network. They're not going to be able to get rid of me. And he's like, well, I just talked to him and it's a done deal. So, you're out. Which we find out here in a second that he was probably just playing a joke on him to get him to come with it.
Yeah, to follow him into the cafeteria.
Yeah.
But before he does, the DJ takes out a hammer. I think it's also implied that it's the DJ's birthday.
Yes, it is. And he picks up a hammer and just cracks him in the back of the head with it.
And starts yelling at him about, you think you're going to take my slot? Yes. You're not going to take my slot.
He goes on an incredible rant, which is just amazing, which the entire thing would be in the quote section.
There's one of the lines that stood out to me is he's like, and then after this, I'm going to find out who you're fucking, and I'm going to get all up in their guts.
Yeah. First, I want to make a note of this because when he's scared and walking down the hallway, he's like, I can skeet and yeet. I'm a master yeeter. What is it? He busts ass and busts nuts.
Yeah. Oh, there's also a moment where when he's scared that someone's at the building with him and he doesn't know who it is, he opens the door and he goes, oh, Jesus Christ, because he sees something moving. Yeah, and it's a cardboard standing of Jesus Christ wearing a Santa hat.
It's actually Jesus, which was great. Oh, and after the Master Yeeter thing, and no one answers him, and he's like, you're treading on thin ice, dog dick.
So many great lines.
But yeah, so basically he's beaten this guy to death, and he just gives his speech about how he's going to destroy his life and frame him and say he attacked him, and then he just kind of looks up and the camera pans to where he's looking, and it's a bunch of his colleagues there with a surprise birthday party for him.
And then one of the guys has a little party, has one of those little party whistles, and he blow. And they all look completely horrified by this situation.
Oh, I also want to note that once he's done giving the speech, before he looks up, he ends it with, you dead fuck.
Oh my god, you've got to see it. You've got to see it to believe it. It's so dang good.
We can't even describe it. It just has to be seen.
And moving on, the next one, the penultimate story is called Jingle Bells. A husband and wife are decorating for Christmas, or getting ready for a Christmas party. The husband says something about, he fixes a light on the Christmas tree, and he's like, score one for man in man's epic battle with Christmas.
It's an epic battle between man and Christmas that's been raging for decades.
The doorbell goes off. The first two guests arrive. One of them is really drunk, leaves her coat on the ground. Mm-hmm. Not really important other than just to kind of show that people are showing up. Doorbell rings again. The husband goes to answer it and just finds a jingle bell outside.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's from the keeper of the bells, letting him know that this dwelling has been marked by the blood of the bells, and all who inhabit shall perish. Mm-hmm. And then one of his friends kind of comes up and surprises him. They go into the house, and the husband gets kind of yanked back. And the door slams shut. So they're all kind of, what's going on? I think maybe the power even cuts to the house. And then they're trying to open the door. They get the door open. And standing there is the husband's body twitching. Yeah. And there's these two demonic figures kind of standing behind him. And he's like, I am the keeper of the bells.
And I'm his minion.
Yeah, and his minion who has wings like the winged monkeys from Wizard of Oz. And he's like, go get them, my minion. And it goes and attacks all the people. And kind of fades out, fades back in, and another couple are arguing about arriving late. We would have gotten in here on time if you had started the GPS sooner.
Yeah. The GPS doesn't know where we're going.
Yep. And the GPS is located in the car, so we would have had to start it when we got in the car. And then they stumble over the corpse of one of their friends.
Oops.
And then look up. And I thought it would have been perfect to just cut right there. They stumble over the corpse of their friend and they scream. That would have been perfect. Would have been like one of my favorite movie endings of all time, The Prowler, where the girl, like, there's these dead bodies at the beginning of the movie, and the girl finally discovers them at the end, and that's how the movie ends. I would have thought it would have been perfect if they had just cut it right there, but instead they look up and the Keeper of the Bells is still there, and goes and murders the other two,
Yep.
and then it fades out. But it was unfair to them. They weren't inhabiting the house when the Keeper of the Bells showed up.
Exactly. It's like they showed up late. They should have gotten a pass. But, you got to keep your minions employed somehow.
And then Jeff's got the last one.
I do. The Killer Caribou. Which, I love killer animals, so I was like, yes, I'm glad I drew this one. No. So, we open on a cabin in the woods, because that's never been used in a horror movie ever before. But yeah, it's a cabin in the woods with an old man. Basically, two people bust in, and it's implied that one of them is, like, injured severely. It's kind of being, like, helped in by the other guy.
They're kind of dressed like hunters.
Yeah, and the old man's kind of just like, whatever, when they walk in. And they're talking about, oh my god, did you see it? It was huge, it was vicious, it was fast. It's like, oh, I wonder what they're talking about. Because we had no idea, because we didn't know it was called The Killer Caribou.
Yeah.
Because there are no title cards or anything when you're watching it.
Then one of them goes upstairs, and the old man kind of starts talking to the other. He's like, Peter, I know you're a good boy. It's Ted who's bad.
Yeah, it's like, so obviously he's some kind of magical guy living in the woods here.
Yep, he knows their names.
Yeah, at first we thought maybe it was Santa, but then it's like, no, it's implied that it's an elf. And it's like, sometime, because he's like, oh my god, it was a monster reindeer out there that attacked him or whatever. And he's like, yeah, sometimes there's a few bad apples in the herd. They got to be brought down here and I watch them. And it's like, is it that point? I think the guy comes back downstairs, and then it's at that point that the caribou busts in.
Oh no, I think so. The guy goes upstairs. We hear him screaming. The other guy runs up after him.
Yeah.
Sees kind of a reindeer, like the shadow of a reindeer, like has gored his friend. Mm-hmm. He then goes to run away. He runs through the front door and gets killed by the other one.
Yeah, and
or gets attacked by the other one.
First, you hear the classic reindeer hooves on the rooftop. It's like the classic poem.
And then the old man takes his hat off and has like elf ears.
Yeah, he's got elf ears. But and then I believe they come in the cabin. And you can kind of see that they're like malformed reindeer, and one of them's got like a missing part of its cheek, and they've got like glowing red eyes, and they're just obviously zombie reindeer hungry for flesh.
Or just evil, evil Santa's reindeer.
Yeah.
The elf is like, I'll do to the Peter or Ted, whichever one was the good one.
Peter.
He's like, I'll do you, instead of letting you have a slow, painful death,
he's gonna do you kindness, and strangles him with some Christmas lights.
Yep. And then the reindeer starts eating his body, and the elf is standing there like stroking the reindeer.
Yeah. Oh, what a good boy. Yep. And that's how we end our anthology of stories. Now we're going to go back to the main story.
So in between every two stories, it's been cutting between the guys making fun of each other. Yeah. They're still, the bartender at one point kind of says something like, when are you guys going to address what's going on between all of you? And they don't want to talk about it. They're all fighting about it. Mm-hmm. And at one point, a woman has come into the bar and kind of sat towards the back and is listening to the conversation. Yeah. They're all kind of discussing this, and she then confronts them about the murder of her sister. We kind of see a flashback.
Yeah, with like her sister being picked up by a van, and then
it's all these guys.
Yeah, tied to a tree, and then it pans back and you see all these guys out in the field like doing some kind of ritual murder.
Yep, and they kill her. And then she proceeds to kill all of the bar patrons.
Yeah, basically butchers them all.
And I think it was a ska song called "I Don't Want to Be Alone for Christmas" starts playing. It's a fantastic scene.
Some great Christmas ska.
Feels very much like the church scene in The Kingsmen. Like she's just going around just murdering all these people.
I did get that vibe, especially when she stabs the priest in the balls with the bottle and then it starts leaking blood out.
I think I had all the kills, or as many kills as I could keep track of. She shoves like a metal straw through a guy's eye. Yeah. Snaps the guy in the wheelchair's neck.
Yeah.
Knife, like throws a knife through like a dude's spine.
Yeah.
Throws the guy who she stabbed in the eye, like throws him on top of the cop, picks up a bar stool, and like bashes the cop's brains in, says "Blue lives splatter." It's a hilarious line. Because he's like, no, and she's like, "Blue lives splatter."
Yeah. It was great.
And then the priest is like, you can do this, but you can't stop us. There's a sixth one. There's the boss. And then she's like, open my bag. And in this bowling bag she brought in is implied to be a head of the person in charge of this. And then the priest is like, well, think about this, and she's like, yeah, okay. And it seems like she's not gonna kill him. And then she has this broken beer bottle and stabs him right in the dick, and blood starts leaking out of the neck of the bottle.
Yep, his bottle dick starts leaking blood.
Oh, it's great. And then she hands like a camera to the bartender, and she's like, watch this, get this to the police, and goes to walk away. And then she's like, oh, by the way, Merry Christmas.
She's like, watch this and you'll know why.
Yeah. And then, by the way, Merry Christmas. And that's how the movie ends.
Classic. Which at that point we applauded because of what a great thrill ride we've just been on.
We're not at our ratings yet, but I think if you're paying attention, you can tell how much we enjoyed this movie.
It was pretty great.
So let's get into our minutia section. We'll start with Christmas Carol's favorite quotes. There's a lot, so I asked Jeff to pare down to some of his favorites.
I'm just going to read you. I'm going to try and stick with 5 favorites, which some of these I may have read before already. But I'm going to do, I'll do 5 to 1. So number 5, I wanted to do, why don't we go slip upstairs and I give you a little gobble gobble and practice stuffing your turkey.
One of my favorites is, you mentioned it, what the shit, ass face.
Yeah. My number 4 would be, your grandma was one spooky old bitch.
Another one, holy sheep shit, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Quit flapping that cock holster, suck my candy cane would be number 3 for me.
I mentioned it earlier, the are you stalking me, STALKING, and then Clarence responds with the only stocking is around your neck.
Yeah.
And it's a Christmas stocking.
Number 2, I would say, is you're the worst thing since the all-female Ghostbusters reboot.
One that I kind of picked out, not a great quote, but it's kind of funny when you think about it, is in Christmas to Dismember. The news reporter says, a massacre that would make Silent Night Deadly Night look like a children's movie.
Yeah, which I knew you must understand that reference.
Yeah.
And I'd say my top one, it was really hard to choose, but I'm going to go with one of my favorite parts of Dead Air, which is when he first talks to the female caller. And he's like, damn, you sound slutty as fuck. Forgive my toxic masculinity, but with a voice like that, I want to eat that butt.
What a movie. What a part of this anthology. I think my favorite line, we've already said it multiple times, ho ho, holy fuck.
Yep. I was debating on including that on mine.
So we'll get to our next section, Christmas sweater set or costumes that we liked, things like that.
Yeah. Santa's evil brother from Santa Claus. I like the design of that costume.
Yeah, like I said, looked like Doomsday from the Superman comics wearing a Santa Claus outfit. There was not a costume, but a part of set design. There at the beginning of the movie, there's a Jack Daniels bottle called Hot Carl's.
Yes. Yeah, I remember you pointing that out. I liked the set design of the radio station, the fake radio station in Dead Air. I thought it looked really authentic. Like they had the local message board and the radio sign lit up, and we saw a little bit in the behind the scenes feature where they were showing him how to use the soundboard so it would look realistic.
In Devil's Due, the daughter is wearing a shirt that says "Slay My Name." Yeah. I thought that was kind of a fun little shirt.
I love that when in the Killer Caribou one, when they did the close-up of the caribou, I thought the effect was really well done, like how you could see its teeth through its broken lip and stuff like that.
I thought Kringles looked really cool.
Yes.
Not especially Christmassy, but I thought Kringles looked creepy. Looked like a real creepy clown.
Very creepy clown. Honestly, I thought the Scary Annette doll is not that great, but the Scary Annette live woman I thought was pretty creepy.
Mm-hmm. The last one I had was from Dead Air. We see a couple of the colleagues, and one of them is wearing a Stevie Wayne Memorial Communications Inc. shirt, which is a reference to The Fog, one of the best horror movies ever made.
Yes. That slipped completely past me, and I love The Fog.
There's a couple great set design moments in this. Jeff and I were talking about it earlier off the air. Off the recording, there's a bulletin board in Dead Air with some horror movie references on it. I think there's a reference to Halloween.
Yeah.
There's a reference to The Thing in one of them. There's in The Scary Annette, I think there is a reference to The Thing.
Yeah.
There's a reference to Final Destination.
Someone must be a John Carpenter fan, which I think I pointed out while we were watching it. The score for Christmas to Dismember seemed really John Carpenter-esque.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. Yeah. But yeah, there's tons of great little horror homages. I think one of the police officers is Officer Voorhees.
Yeah.
Like all sorts of just great little horror references in this.
A real Officer Jason Myers, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, that's all I had for Christmas sweater. Unless you had anything else.
No, I just I like the attention to detail on the shock jock shorts when they were caked in shit.
Let's move on to Christmas spirit. How Christmassy is the movie overall? How Christmassy are the kills?
Well, I would say it varies.
Yeah, the movie felt. I think it nailed the Christmas, like how Christmassy it was. Some of the anthology kills aren't that Christmassy. Just kind of depends on what the anthology story is. But every movie has Christmas lights, a Christmas tree, mentions Christmas.
Yes, I would say it has the Christmas spirit definitely in everyone. But yeah, the kills are kind of hit or miss on whether they're Christmas themed or not. But honestly, it really doesn't matter because you feel the Christmas through the whole thing.
Some of the things I had that I really liked, the smacking the demon from a family reunion or whatever.
Yeah.
Smacking the demon in the face with the wreath, the killer Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
That one is incredibly Christmassy. There's Christmas all over that story.
I mentioned the suit for Santa's evil brother. That was pretty Christmassy. The Christmas music, even like the royalty-free one they used in that one, was pretty good. I liked it.
There's an exterior shot at the beginning of Santa Claus. I'm sure it's just, once again, royalty-free stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's like a flashing lights and like North Pole decorations. That's a very cool shot. I like that shot a lot.
Even like the elves hunting cabin and Killer Caribou, you could still see a few Christmas things scattered around.
There are Christmas lights all over the radio station and Dead Air, just about around every door frame and around every window. But yeah, like even probably the least Christmassy of the stories still has Christmas lights all over it.
Mm-hmm. Even in the bar, it's got a little bit of a Christmas theme to it.
Yeah, and then also the Jesus in the Santa hat in Dead Air.
Yes,
that's very Christmassy.
That was really great. Coupled with the line, made it even better.
In Jingle Bells, there's some fake snow. They use actual real fake snow.
Mm-hmm.
And
actual real fake snow.
And some of the interior feels very Christmassy too. They did a great job in set design for that one.
No, the people who made this clearly cared about making sure that there was at least the continuity of Christmas spread through all the segments.
Yeah, and we mentioned it before, Killer Reindeer and Killer Caribou, as well as Strangling with Christmas Lights. Mm-hmm. I also thought, just very interesting, we're at least going to get one more anthology movie with Killer Reindeer. All the Creatures Were Stirring has not the same, but a similar story.
Oh, okay.
And also there is a movie coming out, or a short film coming out, called Up on the Housetop. We backed it on Indiegogo.
Yeah. And
that one is about like a family being terrorized by Santa's reindeer. Maybe they accidentally kill Santa or something like that, and the reindeer are attacking them afterwards.
That'll definitely be one to watch.
But I thought it was interesting. I'm not saying anyone's copying anybody. I just thought it's really interesting that that's in the zeitgeist, that we've got 3 different movies kind of with a similar point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's pretty interesting that they're all cropping up, because this was just in 2020.
Yep.
I was kind of surprised. I thought, I was wondering, it's like, why does no one talk about this? There should be more buzz about something like this, and it's just probably because it hasn't been out long enough.
And being on Tubi, being kind of, behind a paywall on a Screambox, I think it makes it a little harder to find these things.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one you should watch versus, some other movies I could mention. Barricade.
We're actually going to add a new segment, the naughty list.
Naughty.
And what we're going to do with that, so we're going to put that in right here. What we're going to do is we're going to basically make a comprehensive list of the villains in these movies, and we're going to rank them from worst to best, where they would be on the naughty list. The worst person being more towards the top, the least naughty person being on the bottom.
We may use this list for a future project. I haven't decided yet.
And so I guess we've got three sets of villains so far.
Yes.
Jeff out of Mrs. Jensen and Mr. Polanski from To All a Good Night, the bar patrons in 13 Slaves Till Xmas, and Terrence Shade from Barricade. Who would you say is the worst of those three?
The worst as in the best, or the worst as in the worst?
Who is the naughtiest person?
The naughtiest person. Well, I would say that our villain from Barricade would have to be the naughtiest in my mind for torturing those children in that house for so long.
See, I don't know. It depends on your reading of the movie. As we said earlier, there's some ways to read this movie, to read Barricade, and so I don't know if we can use our headcanon.
Yeah, I mean, if we're not using our headcanon, then I would say certainly these bar patrons would be the naughtiest.
I think they're the naughtiest as well. It's implied they've been ruining Christmas in this town every year,
and just the sheer amount of people they've killed at this point.
Because the heavy implication is that they've killed all these people. Mm-hmm. It's been like they might have alternated who's been doing it, but all this town that's been terrorized every year at Christmas, it's these 5 guys in a bar plus the head of the other person in the bowling bag.
Yeah, and it's never really gone into, but whatever creepy ritualistic thing they were doing with these people also, just puts them higher on the naughty list.
So then next for me, I guess, is probably... Oh man, it's hard to say. I guess Mrs. Jensen and Detective Polanski.
Yeah, I would say they get a naughty point just for killing a girl that wasn't even there when their daughter was killed.
Or trying to, certainly.
Yeah.
They killed lots of innocent people, as well as some guilty people.
Yeah, I mean, some of them definitely deserved it, but Brooklyn Santa, I would say, doesn't belong as high as the bar guys.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. And then, so that would make the least naughty so far. And as we go, we will put more people on this list.
Yes.
But the least naughty as of right now is Terrence Shade. Because, if we can't read our headcanon into what he does, it's a dad suffering with mental illness.
But, I mean, if the headcanon is true, then yes, he's the most naughty on the list.
Oh, yeah, no, he's absolutely the worst. He murdered his own children.
Yeah. Not just quickly, either.
But before we get into kind of our final review, final thoughts... do you want to run down what your 5 favorite parts of the anthology were?
I will rank my 5, and I don't think it's going to be that surprising for you. So, are we going to do them best to our least favorite, or how are we going to do it?
Whatever order you want to do it in.
All right. Well, I'll just start with my most favorite then. Dead Air was my favorite segment by far. I think it was incredibly well shot, incredibly well written. The actors were great. It was just, I loved every minute of it. I was sad when it was over. I wish it was a full-length movie and not just a short part of this.
I just want to hear whoever wrote that dialogue. Mm-hmm. I agree. Dead Air was my first favorite. I want to hear whoever wrote that dialogue. I want to read what else they have to write. That's the stuff the DJ says in Dead Air is absolutely wild and just had us laughing our asses off the whole time.
People always rant about Tarantino dialogue. Well, you should listen to this dialogue.
Number 2?
My second favorite, I'm going to have to go probably with It's a Wonderful Death. Because I love the idea of a demon coming and showing you how much better everyone's life would be without you.
That was a fun one. Didn't make my list. My number 2 is Killer Caribou. As I mentioned earlier, reminded me of all the creatures we're stirring, and just in general, there's got to be something in the zeitgeist about it. And I, for whatever reason, because everyone else seems to like it right now, I really enjoy these killer reindeer movies. Yeah. So I thought that was a fun little.
I like it. I was into it.
Number 3.
My third, I'm gonna have to go with Don't Kill Santa on Christmas, just sheerly for the novelty for me of the killer Christmas tree and how well it was executed. And the line, didn't your granny ever tell you the worst thing you could do on Christmas is fuck over Santa?
Same. Don't Kill Santa on Christmas was my third favorite. For all the reasons you mentioned, it felt incredibly Christmassy, just like all the set decoration, very crunchy.
Yeah.
All the Christmas is all over that scene. Yeah, I had some great Home Alone-esque comedy.
Oh yeah.
The constant bickering between the two thieves, just great, just fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. My fourth, I would say, would be Scary Annette. I'm picking just for the sheer creep factor of the live action version of the doll.
My for a similar reason, my number 4 was Kringles. I thought it wasn't a great. It felt a little short. It was probably, in my mind, it was one of the shorter ones. The child actor mumbles a little bit. It's not his fault, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to get kids to act. But he mumbles a little bit. It's hard to hear him. But the clown is creepy as shit.
Yeah. Actually, when I was choosing this one, because I wanted to try and pick one that was actually a little bit scary, and I came down to, it's like, which one was more unsettling? And for me, it was the Scary Annette woman.
Oh, certainly, yeah. The Scary Annette woman is absolutely creepier than Kringles. I loved the little. There's a little bell sound every time he does stuff, and I love that. There's a little jingle bell as Kringles moves around.
That was pretty great.
Number 5?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with, I'm gonna say Santa Claus. You know, cutting claws.
CLAWS.
Because, it's just, you know what the whole thing screamed to me, and I think I mentioned it while we were watching it. It reminded me of, like, Kane and the Undertaker. This is like a very WWE segment.
Oh no, he has an entrance. Like, he has entrance music. The lights change.
He does an entrance, and the whole thing, like, I know they always used to make a big deal about Kane being the Undertaker's brother, and it's like, he's Santa's evil brother.
It's gotta be Santa's evil brother.
Yeah. And just the fact that her brother is stuck to the wall with a candy cane machete, and she's like, at least I got my new phone.
That is a fantastic end. It's also got to be said, even though that's kind of what I said. It's got to be Santa's evil brother. Kind of a reference to Kane's debut. In my mind, I'm singing "Slow Chemical," which was a later Kane theme song, but I think is the best Kane theme song. But that's just a stupid aside. My number 5 is "A Christmas to Dismember." It was stupid fun. I loved the incompetence of the police. I loved, the head getting bashed in with the rock, and nothing's better than ho ho holy fuck.
Yes, I was debating and including that one in my 5th spot, but the wrestling entrance for Santa's evil brother won out for me.
All right, so let's get into our final ratings. We rate these Christmas horror movies on one of 3 categories. It's either seasonally scary, ho 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 hilarious, or you'll be sorry. Jeff, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I think by this point everybody knows what I'm going for. It's going to be ho 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 hilarious.
Absolutely. This movie also gets a ho 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 hilarious from me. It's not incredibly scary, but it is so damn funny. And it's not one of those bad good. It is legitimately good for an indie movie with a small budget.
It's definitely good. It has moments that are genuinely unsettling that, I mean, for some people I'm sure would reach the level of scary, but I've been kind of desensitized at this point.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly funny in some sections, and it's enjoyable throughout the whole thing. It never drags. Like, you're not looking at the clock 10 times like we did while we were watching Barricade.
Wondering how long we had left. No, it's not boring, which, like we said in the last episode, boring is the worst thing a movie can be.
But yeah.
No, everyone did a great job. All the actors did really, really well. If the worst actor was that mumbly kid in Kringles the Christmas Clown, that's nothing terrible.
I mean, I've known a lot of kids who mumble, so it didn't really take me out of the
it made it a little hard to hear what he was saying, but it didn't change the impact of that story. But everyone did great. The set design's great. They stretched the budget incredibly well. All the lights everywhere, everything looked Christmassy. They had fake snow. Everything looked awesome.
Yes. This is the first one I'm going to unironically recommend that you go out and buy.
I would go to Scream Team Releasing and give these guys some money. Buy yourself a copy of the DVD. Watch this with some friends around Christmas time. You'll have fun. Get a Christmas party together. Watch it, throw it on the DVD player, or inversely, stream it with some friends. All of you watch it online. Do a watch along with some friends over Skype or something.
It would definitely be great. It's like, throw it on at a party or something. It'd be great fun, great conversation piece.
And this To All a Good Night was funny, and we had fun, but I think they were trying to be serious. No one in this was trying to be serious, but they all did a great job.
Yeah, and that was what made it even more impressive for me. Like the scary Annette, it's like, it could have just been a throwaway nothing where they just wasted time with the little doll that got moved around the rooms, like an Annabelle situation. But no, they actually cast a live version of the doll and made it incredibly atmospheric and creepy.
No, everyone understood their assignment in this. There is not a single person who dropped the ball. This is great. And if you get the DVD, go to the special features menu, go down to the bottom, click to the right, and you can watch a video of a guy farting.
Yeah, guy farting in the middle of an interview. It was great.
It was really funny, but it's, even that, like, here we are laughing about this. The music they get is great. They used, a bunch of local people. They had to have crowdfunded this movie. And I wish we would have too. I wish our names were on this because that's how good this movie is.
I loved it. And honestly, this is, usually with these, the first two is like when we're done talking about it, I pretty much just put it out of my mind, forgot about it. But I've been thinking about Dead Air since we stopped watching this.
So many of these are just fantastic. I cannot say enough good about this movie.
Yeah. I mean, when we inevitably make our horrible Christmas horror movie, we need to get the people from Dead Air to help work on it.
When we inevitably make our terrible Christmas horror movie, I hope it's half as good as this.
Honestly, yeah, that would make it amazing.
Yeah, because they stretched their budget. They did a fantastic job. Love this movie. Yeah. We don't give things star ratings, but 5 out of 5 stars.
Yes, definitely. PJ Stark, please come write for us.
Five forks. Welcome to the Platinum Plate Club. What I don't know what people on podcasts say.
5 ham bones.
So that our final segment before we cut off, we do a little thing where we clean out our email inbox in a segment we like to call
Garbage Day. Huh? No.
All right, and this email comes to us from Andrea L. Dear Jay and Jeff, do you think Barricade is the worst movie? Do you think Barricade could be the worst movie of all time? If not, what could possibly be worse? Thoughts? I have been racking my brain, and I can't seem to find one worse. Even Tall Man is better than this movie.
Well, thank you, Andrea L., for not criticizing us like some people.
Yeah, fuck you, Tim B., you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, it is a stupid made-up movie.
Yeah, never. Tell you what, if it turns out A Nightmare Before Christmas is real, The Nightmare Before Christmas, I don't know. Right. If it turns out this movie is real, it will be our last episode. If we review this movie, A Nightmare Before Christmas, that means we are done recording this podcast.
Yep, we're done recording the podcast, and very likely we're dead. But yes, just noting that. Thank you for not criticizing us.
But on to worse movies. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I've seen something worse than Barricade, but Barricade is so fucking boring.
I was going to say, honestly, I don't know if I should mention what I would know is worse than Barricade. Because I know it would trigger my co-host and make him irrationally angry. I'll just say it was a cut of a movie that was popularly demanded by fans for years. And it was so bad that I almost considered hanging myself with my Christmas stocking.
Yeah, I've not watched the Snyder Cut yet. I refuse to.
Oh, he refuses to, but we'll get him to, don't worry.
But the... as I said, what was the name of the I can't even Wind Chill. I couldn't even remember its name because Barricade has taken its place as the worst movie I've seen. As I said on the Barricade review, going into Barricade, Wind Chill is the worst Christmas horror movie I've ever seen. Barricade is worse. I don't know that there is. I'm sure there is a grosser movie. I'm sure there is a more disgusting, more gratuitous gore, whatever other things I would consider reasons to mark a movie as you will be sorry. But from a straight up boring standpoint, Barricade it will cure your insomnia.
Yes. Prescription sleep aid, Barricade.
Yeah, watch one Barricade and call me in the morning. It's nigh unwatchable. I don't know why there are people on IMDb giving it like 7 out of 10 scores.
It's impossible to say. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've seen a movie that made me more bored that I can remember other than what I mentioned earlier, but we'll discuss that at a later date.
Like, I'm looking at our shelf right now, and the movies on there that I have seen, the movies on there that I haven't seen. And, I don't know if some of the direct-to-DVD Krampus movies, Krampus Origins, Krampus the Reckoning, I don't know if those are worse. I don't know if Mother Krampus or Sister Krampus are worse than Barricade. I've not seen them, but it's hard to imagine something being more boring than Barricade.
But I mean, we certainly, if we're going by the movies we've watched for the show so far, it's by far the worst.
Yeah, but I think in general, the only thing I think that might have been worse is my wife and I were watching The Nun in our bedroom, and we were laying down and watching it, and the whole time we were complaining about how dark the movie was, not realizing that we were laying at such an angle that the TV wasn't angled towards us, and so it looked incredibly dark on the screen. And when we sat up at one point, we realized, oh shit, we've missed half this movie, more than half this movie,
because it was shot so dark.
And we thought it was so dark, and it turns out it was just us. That's the closest thing I can think of to like a worse movie. Like Barricade is worse than that, and that was our own fault. And we didn't go back and watch The Nun.
I mean,
but we did get in full color. We did get to see the hilarious moment in The Nun where they spit the blood of Jesus at the demon.
I saw The Nun in the theaters, so they got my money.
One day we will. One day, I don't know, not now, but one day here in the future, at some point, The Conjuring 2 is technically a Christmas film. I will talk about my opinion on the Conjuring movies and how there is unintentional comedy in each one of these movies, and it is what makes these movies fantastic. But the spitting the blood of Jesus into the nun's face is the unintentional comedy that makes that movie, that just makes that movie perfect for me.
Racking my brain, the only movie I could think that has come close to being as boring as Barricade for me was a Western called Bone Tomahawk. If you've heard of that.
Oh man, be careful with that opinion. A lot of people like Bone Tomahawk.
The reason that I bought Bone Tomahawk in the first place is it's a Western with Kurt Russell. And I was like, that sounds fun. And then it bored me to death. And my dad, who has made watching boring movies basically his hobby, said that he was so bored he would never watch it again.
That's the thing. I think the video of a black and white train moving towards the screen that scared people in the theater. Yeah. I think that movie
is more exciting.
Is more exciting than Barricade.
It is. There's action.
But thank you for your email, Andrea. We appreciate it. And if you would like to send us an email for our Garbage Day segment, send us an email to @horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com.
I'm sure I'm going to be hearing about this Bone Tomahawk take.
If you would like to get in touch with us through our social media, we are at horror4holidays on both Twitter and TikTok.
And if you want to catch this on YouTube, Horror for the Holidays is our YouTube channel.
Yep, look for our icon. It's the same on all of our media.
We got branding.
Yeah, we've got that cool image of the Killer Santa and some other stuff. Take a look at that image. See if anything exciting is on there. But other than that, I don't have anything else. Thanks for listening. Make sure to leave us a review, 5 stars on your podcatcher. Like us on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, all I want to say is that I gotta go change my pants because they're caked in shit because I was scared so much by reliving memories of Barricade.
Well, with that, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks.
See you guys later.
Bye.